Biscuits and gravy. This is a dish that had to grow on me. When I was younger, I didn't want anything with biscuits and or gravy, let alone the two things smothered in one another. That is until I worked in a restaurant that did it with intention, and then I began to crave it. I'm gonna start with an equal amount by weight of all-purpose flour and heavy cream. Now, keep in mind, these are cream biscuits. These are not buttermilk biscuits, and I don't have anything against buttermilk biscuits, but cream biscuits are still delicious and they are infinitely easier to make. Here I'm going with 120 grams of all-purpose flour for no other reason than this is a sifted cup. To that, I'm gonna add about a quarter little spoon of salt and a little spoon and a half or half a big spoon of baking powder. Make sure you use baking powder. Baking soda reacts to acid. Baking powder reacts to heat. So use the right one. Stir to combine your various powders. Mix them together. Get them nice and incorporated. And then we're gonna add our cream about a quarter cup at a time until it's all in there, until we form sort of a shaggy ball and everything is kind of the same consistency, until it becomes a shaggy ball that we can work with our hands. Be careful not to overwork this, just enough so that you don't see any dry spots. Kneading forms gluten, which is great in a sandwich bread, but not so great in biscuits. That's what binds bread together. You can roll these out and cut them into equal portions if you want to. I just prefer to roll them into sort of loose balls and let all those wonderful nooks and crannies form naturally that are gonna soak in all my gravy. Bake these in a 400-degree Fahrenheit or 200-degree Celsius oven for 20 to 25 minutes until these are your preferred shade of golden. And while these are in there, we can work on our gravy. The classic is pork sausage or bacon, but you don't even really have to use a pork product for this. You could use chicken thigh, or you could use the fond and dripping from the steak and eggs that you made to go with this. Something really nice would also be ground beef, and then you could do sort of a cheeseburger take on biscuits and gravy, fold a little cheddar into those biscuits, bind that gravy with a little mustard. Be very nice. I'm gonna use breakfast sausage, which you can either buy or make. I buy ground pork because it's more versatile as an ingredient. I can adjust the flavor profile to be what I want it to be. It could be a spicy Italian sausage for pizza. It could be breakfast sausage. I could make some patties out of it. I could flavor them how I want to flavor them. To make the breakfast sausage, we're gonna combine a pound of ground pork, or about half a kilo, with, just like the song says, parsley, sage, rosemary, and thyme, about a big spoon of each. About the same amount of salt, and if you want to make this sweet, I'd go in with 1 to 2 little spoons of brown sugar. But if you don't want it sweet, here's what I do. About half a little spoon granulated garlic, about half a little spoon of granulated onion, and then I really think that any pork product is really brought to life by about a quarter little spoon ginger. And just because I love it, just a dash of crushed red pepper. Now, you might notice that I'm not using gloves. That's because gloves are a load of crap in a home kitchen and usually reinforce bad habits in a professional one. I still have them on hand, but it's usually for working with hot peppers or using cleaning products, something that I don't want on my hand. For this, not only is it enough that I'm washing my hands both before and after, it's kind of the bare minimum. So after I season my sausage, it's time to begin my gravy, or brown my meat. Before you bring your cream to the party, work on scraping up any brown bits that are stuck to the bottom. That's flavor. And then add enough flour back into your sausage to make that fat stick to the sausage again. In my case, this was 2 spoonsful. And then while my pan is hot, the cream goes in about 1/4 cup at a time, adding more when what you have is already incorporated and sticking to the sausage. You can do this without flour, or you can do this without milk, but then it becomes a reductive method for thickening the gravy instead of a more roux-based approach, which is fine. Just decide what you're gonna do and know why you're doing it. Don't apologize for using what you have. When this is thick enough, and keep in mind this is gonna thicken a little bit as it cools, but when this is just about ready to come off the heat, I'm gonna hit it with a little freshly ground black pepper. And I didn't season the pork with black pepper because I want the black pepper in the gravy itself. I want that to be a very fresh tasting, aromatic part of the dish. This looks and smells absolutely amazing. This is gonna stick to your bones. This is gonna keep you full all day, and I've even had instances before where I've gone to sleep without needing another meal, which is okay because you're gonna wake up hungry, and guess what? You get to eat breakfast again. So this is great for someone who's doing like intermittent fasting, or if you're working a ton and you only have the chance to eat once during the day, or as I like to serve it, just one of these with some gravy, and I'll do maybe some bacon and eggs, or some steak and eggs, or a breakfast hash of some sort, as sort of a complimentary dish to this. Another thing I really like is a cup of coffee with my biscuits and gravy, but I'm gonna use a garlic and habanero hot sauce, and I'll just put this over 1/2 so I can taste it independently of the hot sauce. But what this is gonna do, it's gonna add a little bit of a kick, and also it's really gonna provide that much needed acidity. We have a lot of creamy flavors here. We have a lot of creamy and savory. We need a little bit of acid to cut through that fat. So let's taste the non-hot sauce side of this first. I guarantee you this is gonna be amazing without the hot sauce, but the hot sauce brings it to another level here. Could actually use a little bit more salt, but that's okay. The flavors all come together very nicely. All of those fresh and dried herbs in the pork itself. That ginger just lifts the pork a little bit. Very fresh tasting biscuit, nice and crispy crust while still being a little bit flaky inside. We didn't develop a whole lot of gluten, so it doesn't pack together. It falls apart nicely enough to complement that gravy and let it soak in. Let's taste the hot sauce portion. There's no comparison. It's not really all that spicy either. The cream really takes care of that, and the acid just cuts a path to your tongue. That's amazing. Get in the kitchen and make yourself something awesome. Thank you so much to my Patreon supporters, who now include Kathy and Anthony. Thank you so much, Kathy and Anthony. You get my ad-free content. If you want to support the show directly, you can do so on patreon.com. The link is in the description below, where for as little as $1 a month, you get all of my new content ad-free. If you want more breakfast ideas, I did a whole egg series that I'm gonna leave right here, and based on your wants and needs, according to YouTube's understanding, they're gonna leave you a video right here. Cheers. All right. This is clearly superior with the hot sauce, so I'm just gonna go for it.